Rajasthan, the land of the deserts in India, is one of the northern states. Water was scarce. People had to walk miles and miles to fetch water. Now, the story I'm going to share tells you about how one clever girl brought water to her village. In a small village, the women had to walk long distances to fetch water for their homes. They didn't mind because it was a regular practice. They piled up the pots one on top of the other on their heads and some on their hips, and they went all the way. The na 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 ne na ne na ne ta na 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 ne na 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 ta na 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 ne na ne na ne ta na 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 ne na 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 na. As they sang, they went along fetching water. At one time, there was a new bride who came to the village. Of course, she did not know the ways of the village. Now, this village was a very old village, and people followed only what the elders of the village said. They would never ask questions. The youngsters had no say whatsoever in any of the matter concerning the village. Now, this bride was surprised and shocked and said, "What do you mean? Does it mean that youngsters don't have good ideas? Why not?" she asked. But then all the other young women said, "Shh, you don't speak like that, all right? That cannot be done here. Nobody permits you to speak like that. Now behave like a good girl and remain silent." She said, "All right." And the next day, her mother-in-law called her and said, "Listen, Bahu, listen, daughter-in-law, take the pots and walk with the other didis, walk with the other sisters and get water." He said, "What? There's no water here in the village?" she asked in a shock. Yes, we don't have water. You got to walk miles to bring it." Now this girl said, "This is ridiculous. What is this? Why can't we have our own water?" "Shh, don't speak. Off you go." Reluctantly, she picked up the pots and placed it on her head, and she started walking. And she asked her sisters, the didis, what this was. And of course, they explained that this has been happening for generations and there was no water. And she quickly said, "Why can't we dig our own well?" "Dig a well? What's wrong with you? I told you we can't do anything without the consent of the elders." "Let's talk to the elders," she said. "Shh. You are new, you don't know anything, just keep quiet." But this girl couldn't keep quiet. Every day she tried to speak to them and finally convinced them and said that, "All right, I have an idea." In the afternoon, all the elders fall asleep while the men are at work in the farm. Now we can quietly leave to the outskirts and we can start digging little by little, and one day we will relish the fruit of labor. Surprisingly, all of them agreed, because how long can they be walking such long distances? Well, so every afternoon when all the elders went to sleep, they quietly took all their important stuff, all the tools, the crowbars, the spades, whatever they could lay their hands on to dig. And they went there and they started singing and digging. Diggy 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 and diggy 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 aha diggy 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 oh diggy 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 aha diggy 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 diggy. This went on. But one afternoon, one of the elder woke up and she looked around and didn't find her daughter-in-law. She quickly called out to her neighbor and said, "Shh, come here." And the neighbor said, "What? You know what? My daughter-in-law is missing." And that woman said, "Shh, my daughter-in-law is missing too." Soon all the old women got together and each of them said that their daughters-in-law, and all of them were missing. They said, "Let's catch them today." But they said, "Shh, let's put this across to the men." For that was the practice. Women didn't do anything there. They had no powers. So all the women went and complained to their respective heads, their families, the husbands, the sons, and lit it there. So the next day, all the men went to work as usual, all the women went to sleep as usual in the afternoon, and all the young girls, taking all this, then quietly went and started digging. Diggy 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 diggy. They went on and on. And just then, splash! Water gushed out. And they all said, Pani, 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 water, 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 water. La 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 la. La 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 la. All the men who were hiding and watching what was happening came out of their hiding and they all clapped their hands. And they all said, bravo ladies, bravo. We are so proud of you that you have brought water to our village. And everybody pointed at the young bride. It was she who gave us the idea. She moved forward and she said, let's do it. And here we are with our own well in our own village. And to this day, they celebrate her as a hero. It is a true story, but I'm afraid I heard it very long time ago. And let's celebrate this success. Na 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 na.